Hi everybody, Dan Beal, LES music teacher here. So I just got finished doing one of my, I guess you could call this a dry run, like a setup of all my equipment for Young Composers Night. And I thought maybe it'd be helpful for people to see how I set it up. So let's get started with the tour. So first thing you need to know, basically, first of all, here's my setup. So you can see I've got 6 iPads all lined up, ready to go. I've got them all running through the mixer that I use, which is called a Jam Hub, which is unfortunately out of business. But you could also use a mixer here and control everything from here if you'd like. I've got all the sounds getting fed into the Jam Hub, and I actually have a monitor going right here. And I actually have all the sounds also going from the Jam Hub into my main sound system, which has the speakers that go throughout the entire all-purpose room here, so that everybody can hear it. So I guess the first question you need to ask yourself is, where do you connect to your main source of sound? For us, we just happen to have inputs built right into the stage as XLR inputs. So I usually just go right into this center one right here. I use an XLR cable, and then what's unique about the Jam Hub is I can run that XLR cable. I use a direct box, so I'm able to do XLR in through here, and then I take a stereo 1/4 inch cable and I run it through something that comes with the Jam Hub, which is called the Solmix remote. Now, if you weren't using a Jam Hub, you could always just run some sort of connector from the main source of your sound system right into your mixer, which would be here if you don't have a Jam Hub. So from there, basically what I do is I set up each iPad on its own channel. So on the Jam Hub, you can see they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got cables going from each channel to each iPad. So if you can see from here, you've got 6 iPads, basically starting from left to right. We've got channel 1, channel 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, and then, like I mentioned earlier, I have a monitor set up so that the students can hear what they're playing. They'll hear the song that they created. They'll also hear themselves doing their improvisation on the instrument. What I also do is I take one of the channels on the Jam Hub. This could also be a channel 7 on your mixer. On the Jam Hub, it's called the rear. I just use this and I run a cable right here. This is an input cable, and I run that cable into either an iPad or a CD player, and this is where I load the students' songs. So once the students finish their songs, I export them to my computer, and I either burn them all onto a CD, which I usually prefer. It just seems to be a little safer. Sometimes iPads or MP3 players can be a little fluky. Sometimes the connection every once in a while just gets funny, but you could certainly use that if you'd like. And then what I do is during the actual concert, let's pretend it's this student's turn right here. That's channel 1, 2, 3. Using the Solmix remote, which is a very nice feature if you're able to get a Jam Hub or have one, I can actually control the volume of that student right here while they're playing. I have the background music, which would feature the song they created, in the R channel, so I can balance the volume of their song against the volume of their instrument playing, and so I can control everything from here. Of course, if you had a mixer, you'd want to have the mixer probably closer to you, so you could just adjust the knobs of the student performing on their iPad instrument and the background music that they've created. So in my next video, I thought maybe I would actually show you an example of what one of my iPad bands would do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some music on, and I'm going to just go from iPad to iPad, actually taking turns doing a solo on each instrument, so you can kind of get a rough idea what it might sound like in concert. So to be continued in part 2. If you have any questions about my setup or how I do this, feel free to leave some in the comments section. I'd be happy to answer them, any questions that you might have.